Actually, honestly, what I missed the most, I got to go to a tabletop con. This time, really, it's the second time, only the second time going, but the first time really going to enjoy everything. The other time, I was helping a person table, and that was my whole thing for 2020. I'm like, oh, it's gonna be so much fun. I'm gonna go to these events. I'm gonna meet people, make the right connections, get my game out there, maybe table at the end of the year. And instead of that happening, 2020 happened, and now it's 2021, and it's the same thing where I'm like, can't do it. And the weird thing is, I don't know if I'd want a table in 2022, because I'm OCD as it is, and now I have to deal with like another layer on top of that.
And also you have to deal with the fact that con plague is almost inevitable.
I know, but there's ways I can get around that. I can wear gloves and a mask. I need to still theme it to my game, but beyond that.
You should cosplay as Marty McFly's Darth Vader variant from Back to the Future.
Just wear the hazmat suit.
Okay, Convention Tea, the food episode. Let's talk about food. All right, who are we and why should you care? Again, we are Scarlet Rhapsody. We have been covering conventions since the early 2000s. I founded Scarlet Rhapsody in my dorm when I was a university student and decided, like, you know, everyone has like all these fancy themed website domains, Silent Dream, Ethereal Sea.
Jared.geocities.com.
And I'm like, I want something fancy sounding. I like to color red, and I've always liked classical music. Okay, Scarlet Rhapsody. And then that just became my collective of like posting convention reports, cosplay, just kind of like at the perspective like, hey, here's this university student going to all these cons, let's talk about them. So a little bit more than just kind of like personally blogging about what I did at conventions. More so like, hey, this is what I liked about it. These are photos of friends. These are photos of people interacting with merchandise. Photos of like places to eat, especially. Because we actually did, there was a point on our website, you could still find some of these articles, where he ran a section called Snorlax's Leftovers, which is essentially a foodie guide to like certain hidden gems at places where you would typically go to a convention.
Because everyone always complains, I can't find any food, or there is no good food, and then I would be like, actually.
Like, if you're in town here, we recommend this hidden gem.
2 blocks this way, or 2 blocks that way.
I mean, I wish Felipe's was open when we really needed it, when we were in downtown LA, but it wasn't.
Because it was like 9 o'clock.
Yeah, like, there's nothing late at night to eat that is of substance.
Yeah, downtown LA has its own problems.
There's a story for that, too. So, Scarlet Rhapsody, we also are in convention reviews. We do podcasting. This is our first venture into live streaming. We kind of were toying with it last year, but we weren't quite sure how to fully execute it. So this is very experimental for us, too. We also enjoy giving presentations and panels at cons. We've been guests at cons. And since there's no cons, like, this is also kind of a way to also just kind of like be panelists like twice a month on our own platform, just talking about convention culture, some things we miss about convention culture, and of course, more importantly, we are storytellers. So we got some stories for you. All right, introduce yourself.
I'm Jay. I've joined Scarlet Rhapsody around 2009.
Yeah, 2009 sounds about right. We have a photo of you as Shiki here in at SacraCon 2009 when you first started volunteering as our copy editor.
And I'm also known as the Melty Blood poster child, so which is always helpful.
There's a meme that goes around that shows like all the stereotypes of fighting games, and someone found a photo of him and his Neko art plush.
No, it's me with the knife.
Okay. I think that's it
was taken before. That's an older photo. Believe it is me with the knife in the photo, just like doing like a battle pose kind of thing. Because I'm like, I like the fact that someone who was making that just went and said like, okay, Melty Blood cosplay, and then the first one to pop up. It's great. I love food. I do a Disney / theme park / movie / whatever food YouTube thingy, which I need to do more cooking on that.
We do have a recipe book called Eat Like Waltz.
Because I already did a few of my own personal recipes on there, and I get mixed messages from people and from view numbers, but
they think you should.
People think I should. View numbers say I shouldn't. So I don't know, but
what makes you happy?
I'll probably do more cooking. Maybe if I do enough, I can get more people will recognize it as a thing, and then it'll be whatever.
You could do a Julia versus Julia thing, but Walt Disney. Any hoots? That is Jared the Greek. And me, Scarlet Aznavour. So I've been cosplaying since like Anime Expo 2000. My first costume was Cardcaptor Sakura for Halloween, followed by Utena. And yeah, it just kind of like just took off from there. Again, I found a Skull Rhapsody in my dorm at my university. I just was really into web design, and there was like this collective of like otaku web designers, and it's like, yeah, like I want to learn all this stuff and things. I used to do like amateur voice acting like in the late 90s, early 2000s with a lot of fan dubbing, and yeah, just been making my own costumes, master level cosplayer. Haven't done a masquerade in a while, and I've been seeing all these online contests. I'm like, okay, I want to do like all these online contests. This. And I kind of feel like that's the direction we're kind of turning to this year. Okay, online contests, okay. Favorite costumes, I would have to say Sailor Mars is one of my favorite costumes. That's usually like the one costume I bring like almost every con. I also enjoy cosplaying from Love Live. Daya, Yohane are like my go-to characters from that franchise. And very soon, Setsuna Yuki. We share the same birthday. Alright, why are we doing a presentation about food? Of all things we could talk about, which we will eventually. Hotel roommate horror stories, masquerade behind the scenes horror stories, cosplay related horror stories. We had to pick food. Well, food is an essential part of our lives. We have food almost every day.
Yep.
And Jared, how long have you been an eater of food?
Since I was born.
And are you a fan of food?
Yes, I am what the people on the internet refer to as a foodie, which is like Wall-E, but food.
Yeah, so I have this photo here of like people cosplaying as instant ramen, which is like the running joke at cons. Like, yeah, this is what people like pack because it's cheap. It's a few cents on the dollar.
If you're in a hotel room, you can get access to water relatively easily.
Hot water relatively easily. Yes. I know people who do it raw, like, no.
Wait, just eat the crunchy noodles?
Yes, I know, right?
Oh.
I could never do that. Like, I know I had that stage before where, yeah, you go to the hotel, you get whatever ramen you can at, like, Albertsons, share amongst yourselves, heat it up in the coffee pot, live that life, but not anymore.
I've done the tap water version where, like, the coffee machine wasn't working right or something. I was like, screw it. I just poured tap water in there and stab it a few times, stir it around. It was like, yes, and great, but it'll keep me alive. But I wouldn't have thought of like, oh, yeah, good idea to do. Just eat this crunchy stuff. That's gonna be delicious.
No, I don't live by that life. All right, so
just dump the flavor pack directly in your mouth. Oh gosh.
Right. All right. So what are some of our favorite convention nom-noms? So my favorite convention nom is I have a friend, her name's Jinnie. She's part of the convention organizers circle, and she does like a lot of we run anime cons type of presentations and get-togethers, and when she does, she goes big. She brings her homemade cupcakes. Last time I had one of them was, I believe it was Kraken Con up at Oakland, because she always talks about on social media, like, yeah, I make all these cupcakes, I really want you to just try my cupcakes, like, sure. And oh my god, they were just amazing. I really love them. In fact, the reason why I have these photos here, these are actually her cupcakes, because I just asked her one day, it's like, hey, can you send me photos of your cupcakes? I just want to give you a shout out on my live stream, because I love your cupcakes so much. So it's always nice when like people bring like homemade goods to conventions. I know you and I were like joking about like this is more of a drinking type of story, but having Love Live themed like alcoholic beverages and having a Love Live themed room party like on the same level as like something at BronyCon where like the room is completely themed and you have your drinks completely themed, and yeah,
you have their music playing in the background.
It's not like, hey, we're meeting up at my hotel. Who wants to get crunk, kids? Now we do things with style here. All right, your favorite con noms.
Okay, so two basic answers here. The easy answer is, of course, Okonomo Kitchen.
Okamoto.
Kitchen. Words. Okamoto Kitchen is just, I love those. Oh, it's the best food truck ever. And
Japanese comfort food. So just
little bento boxes.
They're local to Southern California, and if you follow them on social media, they've been going around the greater Los Angeles area. So their food truck fleet. We have a doggo in the background, and Jay is trying to punish the doggo by pointing at it.
Grr. Hey.
I'm pausing this because this is amusing to me. And the doggo listened to Jay.
Don't need him barking all the time.
Yeah, Okamoto Kitchen is amazing, and definitely follow them on the socials. He's done a few reviews of their themed bento boxes on his Eat the Magic channel. So they did a specialty box for Anime Expo and Anime Impulse.
Yes, where I learned that karaage is the greatest food ever made.
All right, continue on.
Karaage is a giant popcorn chicken, and it's so good.
I could go for some karaage right now.
The other thing that's always one of my go-tos is whatever I have as actual leftovers and have snuck into the con. I am the master of sneaking food into cons. I've only been caught once, and both a good sneaking story is in there, and the one getting caught story, I believe, is part of this as well.
And I know, like, after the pandemic, something we'd like to do. We stream Genshin Impact here on this channel. I was just streaming it yesterday, and I'll probably stream more of it now that I have a lot more free time on my hands. We'd like to just replicate some of the menu items and food items in Genshin Impact.
Yeah, that's something I'd probably try to do for a gathering or for possibly a photo shoot. If we had just like friends coming together or something. Or if this will ever happen again, when Make Light would used to get the people together at their studio area for a relatively cheap price. And they'd do a potluck kind of thing.
Make Light is no longer functional.
I know they're not.
But Casa get-togethers versus potluck. And then we have a cauldron. And if we get a Paimon plush, we will put the Paimon plush in said cauldron. Because emergency rations.
Mm-hmm.
And he's
like how everyone chose that answer. That's the best part about that.
And he's costing as Zhongli. We still need to order the costume off Doki Doki Cause.
Yeah, unless I find some other character I like more.
Mm-hmm. And I'm
Problem is my favorite character thus far is a little girl who blows stuff up.
Klee, I like her.
Klee is my favorite.
Yeah, and Zhongli also has now a new assistant, Hu Tao, and she looks pretty cool.
She's the zombie?
No, that's not the zombie. This is a brand new character who's a funeral assistant type character. Has black hair. She looks really cool.
Like the zombie.
Mm-hmm. Okay, we got some. Yeah, we got some folks here in the chat. Let's see.
I'll get back into this game eventually.
Let's see. Hot tap water ramen as a last word in the past. I don't think I could do that anymore. Yeah, I don't think I could do that anymore.
That was me in my 20s.
I mean, I will pack like an extra thing of ramen if he needs like an extra sodium boost.
But you're not going to use the tap water from the bathroom sink like me and said person did at one point. You're going to actually use the coffee machine thing.
I now bring an electric water kettle. Yes, electric water kettle. Sounds good.
That's a good choice too.
No worries about the typos. We're all human. Yes, Jinnie's cupcakes are delicious. They have like the right kind of feeling.
Of note, I would suffer through tap water ramen, but I would bring my own tea bags because I wanted my own specific flavors of tea. That's the kind of person I was at cons in my 20s.
Let's see. Someone says hello to the doggo. Okay. Okamoto Kitchen all says come up to Fanman CRX. Excellent. Yes, agreed. Doki Doki cosplay is wonderful. I ordered my Shinobu cosplay from them from Demon Slayer. Amazing quality at an amazing price. I'm not shilling for them, but if they want to sponsor me, would appreciate it. But I'm just talking about like, hi, I've been sewing for like for over 10 years, and I really like the quality and I really like the value. Yes. Yes, I might have heard of Adagio teas. They have that online retail thing. I've never actually tried it before, but I'm actually curious. And, Magical Senpai Gaming also agrees that Kiki is adorable. She's a zombie girl.
Mm-hmm.
They also have blue powdered mango tea. It is so good. Tastes like Fruit Loops. Ooh, I do like me some fruity teas. Thank you for the recommendation.
The weirdest thing about Genshin is I don't think I have any waifus. I just have like certain characters who I think are adorable, and I want to just like, have like a little tea party with all of them or something.
Like, yeah, like all the little girl characters, all the lolies, like, yeah, tea party time at the funeral parlor.
Because, like, people have to understand that one of my favorite characters in Fate is Alice / Nursery Rhyme. Not only because, like, in Extra, it's so sad, but also just because, like, that's exactly what I would want my daughter to be like in real life, including magical powers. So, that's me. Like, so there's always going to be one little girl who's going to be like, that's what I want my daughter to be like. I want her to wear red and throw bombs at people.
Yeah, my waifu is Beidou, Ninghuan, Lisa, Jean. Our squad, essentially.
I haven't played enough to really have anything in that category on either side. Although I do like, oh god, what's his name? Edgelord or whatever. I got him in one of my early draws. I liked him.
All right, let's talk about the time you went to New York.
I hate New York. Just establishing that. Anyone who's listened to previous episodes, yeah, I hate New York. This is the worst place ever. Ever. It's the worst. So, when I was forced to go to New York to go to New York Anime Fest, which actually was really good. I've actually found some really rare stuff. There's some cool people. I got to hang out with Veronica Taylor. Overall, a pretty awesome weekend, except for all the parts where I had to be outside of the convention center. Well, I got to see some decent Broadway shows, too. But the first day we went, we were still super tired. We basically took a red-eye flight, got to our hotel, had maybe 2 hours of sleep, and then had to and then went out to the con. It was not the best choice. But I had packed a bunch of food in my backpack and took out pulled pork sliders. And I don't remember what I was cosplaying, but I found like all these every pocket.
You're cosplaying as Dallas, as seen here, as you're about to punch Justin Timberlake.
Thank you. And I think I have like a sandwich in each of my like pants pockets, and then I had like some extra food inside the jacket pockets. And I got through security because I am smooth like that. When we were going through the thing where we just need to find a place to eat, and they're like, those signs of like the no outside foods and what have you. So we just get to the back of a panel and we can do this. And there was a panel and it was doing an IP presentation on just like how intellectual property works and IP lawyers and what they do. And the one thing I didn't know about IP lawyers is that there's a significantly more martial arts involved than I was originally aware, which is pretty cool. Just pulled the food out of my pants, out of the jacket, and just started eating and having a little picnic in the very back.
We were in the back row. We were just like picking off the sandwiches, and like it's a lunch and learn session.
Mm-hmm. And
because I've been doing that a lot at cons, where I just like go in the back row, attend a panel that have some interest in, just so I can sit down in a quiet place and just kind of like have a salad as I'm just kind of listening to presenters.
And most of the time, my general rule is find like a little out of the way location where no one's around, because that's the best place to eat your snuck in food. But this is one of the few times they actually used a panel room, which is why I pulled this out as one of my options. Of note, almost every convention has a no outside foods rule. And they're getting better with their security over the years. But I've snuck food into almost every single convention I've gone to. So just to name convention centers that I may have done this at, allegedly, Long Beach, LA, wherever the hell SoccerCon is held. Oh God, that's that terrible one in Boston.
Heinz?
Hate the Heinz. There's a list of the first two that come to mind. I'm not going to count Katsucon because like the hotel's just like intermixed with, so it's its own thing. I think that's all hotel, isn't it, for Katsucon?
Yeah, it's a hotel that shares itself with a convention center.
Yeah, so I'm not going to count that one because there's not a specific.
And there's a lot of places that have happy hour in that area too.
So doesn't count.
Okay. All right, my story. All right, why I do what I do. So this story happened back in 2007, and there was this cosplay photographer who was just trying to throw shade at me. So basically, earlier in the stream, I was talking about why I do what I do is I like to capture like the vibe, the essence, and the culture of the convention, because every convention is different. Every convention is going to have a different vibe. Every convention is going to have a different kind of culture to it. So think like cons as like almost like different countries. So there's this cosplay photographer. I'm just hanging out with my friends, and like he's also kind of having a side conversation with like a couple of my friends in that conversation circle, and then he just kind of like just side eyes me, and I hear him say something to the effect of, "Well, at least I don't take photos of people like dining at restaurants." I'm like, wait, was this a jab at me? And like, you know what? Maybe I should take more photos of people dining out at conventions. I'll just do that. So at Anime Expo that year, I'm hearing some voice back here. There we go. Okay, so at Anime Expo that year, we have a separate section about dining at Anime Expo. And this was the year they were first at the LA Convention Center. Okay, so I take that back. It wasn't 2007. It was 2008. And it's kind of a bit of a flashback here because this is a screenshot from that article that we posted on the website. We talked about the Fox Sports Bar, no longer there. La Bella Cucina, no longer in downtown LA, but it was a pretty good Italian place, good value, good service. But yeah, if you dare throw some shade at me, I will find a way to throw shade back at you. All right, pizza time.
Sorry, it just reminded me of when some convention organizer got upset that there was a photo of my dog in one of our reports, and we ended up doing a whole section on the next report just dedicated to my dog.
May he rest in peace.
Yes, everyone loved Scott.
We love you, Scott. You were an amazing corgi. You had a nubby butt. And you went click-click when you walked.
All right, is this Rhode Island?
No, this is pizza time.
Oh, pizza time. Okay, so SakuraCon, Seattle itself is actually a really beautiful place with a lot of good food options. Now, the problem is when you're at a convention that's right next to a mall, sometimes you just run into the mall, grab a food court, and just head right back to the convention center. So this time around, it was like the first year we were ever there, so me and my buddy who I flew up with were like, okay, let's just go grab some food, let's go to the mall, let's hit the food court. And I was dressed up like Reno from Final Fantasy VII, and he was dressed as Guy from California. And so we just headed to the thing, and like, I'm not even thinking about it. Like I'm just, because the clothing itself just feels like normal clothes, except for the wig, a little bit of face makeup.
Were you carrying around the rod?
Yes, I was. And we just kind of went there, and it's just like, do you want to grab something, like just whatever the first thing we find? It was a Sbarro pizza, and I'm like, yeah, sure. I'll just get a thing of pepperoni or whatever. 2 slices of pepperoni, I'm good. And so I get 2 big things there. I don't think if I even get a drink, I think I'm just like, I just want to gobble down like 2 slices of pizza and then just move on with life. And taking back the thing, he grabbed, whatever he grabbed, probably a burger or something. It doesn't really matter. I'm sitting there, I'm just eating my pizza, relaxing, and he starts giving me this weird look. I'm like, what's your problem, dude? He's like, everyone is looking at you. And I look around, I see little kids staring, and I wave at them. And I see other customers walking by, and they're like waving to me, and I'm waving to them. And he's just getting super crazy embarrassed. And I'm the one, who's in the costume. So you think I'd be the one getting embarrassed. And he's like, okay, dude, let's just finish your pizza so we can get back to the convention center. So so we can be around people who know what you're doing. And I'm like, okay. Very slowly lifts slice. Very slowly takes a bite. And like, this is Sbarro. It's not like the best pizza, but it's mall pizza. And I just started eating it slower just to be a jerk. It's one of those fun things when you have the friend who's embarrassed for you, and I wasn't embarrassed at all. I was just like, I'm having a good time. This is fun now. People are noticing my costume and waving to me. This is cool. And so the thing is, kind of like what you were saying there, where the whole someone says something, you got to go do the extreme opposite. And that was, I think, great. All they had to do was say, like, dude, remember, our panel you want to hit is like at 1 o'clock. It's already like 12:45. We better hurry up. And I'm like, oh, right. Yeah, the 1 o'clock thing will come. Just munch this down as quick as I can. Let's get out of here. And that's what he should have done. He should have just reminded me of what we wanted to do next on the list of things to do. And instead, he was in the old stop staring at me people. Like, well, dude, had you gone as rude like I suggested?
He wouldn't shave his head for rude.
He would not shave his head for rude. Although I did meet a really cool Rude and Elena at the gathering, which I think was the exact same day. Yeah, it obviously had to be the same day. I don't think I wore Reno twice. So it was the same day I also went to the gathering and met some really cool other Turks, and like they were basically in charge of the gathering. So I was just hanging out with the Turks,
That's awesome.
like in charge of stuff. It was great.
Okay. Los Angeles.
Have fun with that.
Yeah. I have a love-hate relationship with the LA Convention Center. If it's LA Comic-Con, we usually leave at a reasonable time when we can go grab dinner. LA Comic-Con is typically like a commuter convention. By commuter convention, you don't really have to be dedicated to a hotel. It's a convention that runs between like 10 a.m. and probably closes like around 7, 8 o'clock.
Mm-hmm.
Like after like nighttime type of things like a fanime or an anime expo. So LA Comic-Con, I could usually bring in a salad and just grab dinner when I'm on the way home. Anime Expo, however, is not that type of convention. Anime Expo requires, it's almost like a 12 a.m. to 12, it's an all weekend affair.
You better pack a lunch.
Yeah, pack a lunch, and you also have to deal with the extreme LA heat, especially because it's during the summer.
The security ain't much better either.
Yeah. AX has got better with having food trucks there, but at the same time, you still have to wait in line, no surprise, to get your food, but by the time you start feeling like hangry and whatnot. And then I just think that the worst, I have like 2 sub-stories to this. The worst was 2019 after the Love Live concert. And I decided to go back to my hotel room. We met up with Jared and the 2 other people that we were rooming with. We were staying at the Biltmore. And I did my research prior, and it's like, okay, there's a hotel bar. They serve food. They're open till 12 midnight. Okay, let's go there. Even if it's late at night, we can get some appetizers and share amongst each other. They do not serve appetizers after a certain time. Mm-hmm. It's just drinks. I'm like,
yes, the bar is open, but the grill is not.
I mean, I don't mind having a late night drink type thing, but please just have something open because there's people here who need food fast, and there's not a lot of dining options in that area in LA that's safe to walk to in the evening. Like you and I, we thought about getting a DoorDash order, but 10 o'clock at night, getting a DoorDash, good luck with that. Because nothing was really open. The hotel was nice enough to give us a menu for to go, but none of us were really in the mood for it to go because we needed a to now. Because that's how hungry and starving we were, because we were under the impression that the hotel bar was still serving appetizers while it was still open. And that really pissed us off. We were all in just hangry mode. But thankfully, we did pick up some snacks and some food from Trader Joe's to hold us over. Those were meant to be our lunch for the very next day.
Yeah, they had to turn into dinners for the night
So
before.
we had to turn those into dinners. And what we just ended up doing the very next day, okay, let's just go grab something at the food trucks and just kind of suffer through the heat. Second story.
Oh God, I just remembered a really horrible. This was like LA Comic-Con one.
Was it when you were waiting for 90 minutes for me to get
French
the fries? Yes. There's really no story to it, but all you have to know is I was waiting 90 minutes just to order a thing of fries just because I was lazy and I didn't pack the salad with me. So that's why I'm like, okay, anytime there's a convention at LA Convention Center, always pack that Trader Joe's salad with you.
Because I think you got the order, it didn't take you that long to get the order, but it just was...
Just waiting. And the food trucks that year was really set up really funkily. I mean, it was actually at the convention center, so you had to exit the dealer's hall, and then these trucks are parked in this balcony
terrace
type thing. Whereas at AX, you have to cross the street to get to the food trucks.
They have little booths and stuff they'll set up at AX in that general same zone, I think. Or no, it's a different part of the terrace. They'll set up some little booths and stuff occasionally. Mm-hmm. But it was just they had only 2 or 3 trucks, and every single person was out there just trying to get stuff, and everything got super delayed. No one was happy. Everyone was miserable.
Yeah, that's why I'm anytime major convention center, just bring salad from home. Because even if there are food trucks, especially with a large convention, the lines will be long, the wait might be even longer.
Well, here's the thing is, I'd also recommend the Trader Joe's burrito. Comes all wrapped up in a nice thing. And if you don't have a heating option, if you just carry it around with you, room temperature will eventually get it to an edible level.
Yeah, but the second story I have here is the time when we were really hangry after CWF and we were commuting from my parents' house.
Oh.
There was nothing open in my parents' neck of the woods. We thought McDonald's was open 24 hours, or at least open till like 2 a.m. or something.
At least for a drive-thru.
Drive-thru wasn't open. And we were just looking over just for fast food. Like, I didn't care if it was McDonald's. I didn't care if it was Carl's Jr. Nothing was open at 11:30 in the evening. So I had to hangrily cook at my parents' house just like some breakfast for like a very late dinner, just so I can just not be hangry, because I wasn't really feeling it. And just going through drive-thru after drive-thru to find out that everything is closed. Because I used to remember, like, back in the day, like, my parents would, like, we would get home from Disneyland and we'd go to McDonald's to just grab, like, a quick something, like, late-night snack, or, like, just some apple pies after we got back from Disneyland. Like, wait, you guys are closed? I thought you were, like, open till, like, midnight or something. What's going on here?
And it also, again, it's also going to depend what fast food places you have around you, too, because there are places that, you know, I mean, Taco Bell does the whole advertisement for that because they have their whole Stoners campaign, but I don't know if there's a Taco Bell near you.
There is a Taco Bell near us.
Yeah, well, we could
have done that. You just don't really think about Taco Bell because I don't know. We live in California.
Taco Bell or Del Taco, one of the two.
We also have a Del Taco.
Commercial for
my parents' neck of the woods.
I think it's Taco Bell does commercial.
Stoner special.
Stoner special.
And Magical Senpai here says Trader Joe's wraps are also a go-to.
The wraps are pretty good. Yeah,
I've never tried the wraps, but I know he's more into wraps. I usually go for a salad because I normally have salads for lunch, so that's usually how I function.
I have a preference for burrito, but if you go for the wrap, you don't have to worry about heating it up as much. So, but yeah, little simple things like that. I mean, a lot of my snuck-in food tends to be burritos or small sandwiches. So.
All right, let's talk about the time the con messed with Kyle Reese. The real Kyle Reese, by the way.
Remember when I said we had that one story about me failing? This is my failure story, and it's an even bigger failure story because of how it affected a actual Hollywood celebrity. I got to say the phrase Hollywood celebrity. So we're going to Rhode Island Comic-Con, which, you know, from Boston to Providence is really like an hour and a half train ride.
It's not an hour train ride. Just kind of like take a nap on a train. Just let you...
Not that big a deal. It's easy enough. You throw in your headphones, you take a nap, you'll be there before you know it. And I was like, okay, cool. We'll just throw some food. I think probably in your purse or something. And I made like sandwiches for each of us. I think we had some granola bars, possibly some fruit snacks.
Yeah, we had PBJs, Brothers fruit snacks, Pop-Tarts.
Yeah, it was Pop-Tarts. That's what it was. Fruit snacks and Pop-Tarts. And by the way, fruit snacks, pro tip, is a great one. It gives you just enough sugar boost, and usually they'll have some, you know, a little bit of vitamin C or vitamin D in there that will give you just allow you to keep staying alive just to get to a real restaurant. And if you took an airplane flight somewhere, keep those peanuts. Those peanuts are easy to sneak into your pockets, and they can just give you a little bit of an extra sodium boost just to get you from like, oh, it's 1 o'clock and I won't be able to get to a food truck until like 3, and you just need to survive that 2 hours. It'll keep you going. Anyhow, their security is very, very staunch on that whole no outside foods thing, to the point like you have to throw all this away. And I was like,
you want us to waste food?
I'm not throwing my food away. You can't get me to do that. Like, then you have to eat it right here. And one of the security dudes was watching us eat, so we pulled out our sandwiches and we're starting to eat the sandwiches. And as we're doing that, I'm palming certain food items and finding ways of hiding them in her outfit, in my outfit, and just keep eating. Because as long as we had the sandwich coming to the mouth, that's all they wanted to see. So the guy's not paying. He's paying attention to the right hand bringing the sandwich. He's not realizing I'm left-handed. I'm using my left hand to roll really high on sleight of hand.
I was actually wearing my trench coat over my Sailor Moon cosplay. So you were sneaking it into my various pockets of my trench coat before I fully transformed into Super Sailor Moon that day.
Because she's not going on the train dressed as Sailor Moon. That would be ridiculous. So that's how we ended up doing it. So we get in going like, well, that sucked because we wanted, you know, now this is just, we've just had 2 breakfasts and you know, we're just going to have to survive on Pop-Tarts and fruit snacks for our lunch, or snack on it, you know, probably waiting for the train on the way home and then eat something at home. But one of the people they had there was Michael Biehn. Now, for those of you who don't know, he was a guy who was on The Mandalorian for 5 minutes. But I know him as the guy from Terminator and The Abyss, and Aliens, and Tombstone, and a whole bunch of other smaller but very memorable roles. So while we're waiting through things, we're like, okay, well, he has a huge line right now. We'll come back a little later when it's not a crazy line, because I want to do stuff at this convention, not just be in a line for one person the entire time. That's the reason why I never had the chance to meet Stan Lee before his passing, is because he'd show up at cons and the line would be 14 hours long. I'm like, I want to do other stuff at this convention. I don't want to just wait in line for Stan Lee and say, what'd you do at the con? Waited in line for Stan Lee. So we were going out and about doing our stuff. It gets to about 1 o'clock, 1:30, 2 o'clock, somewhere around there. And we go by his table, and his table's stumped. I'm like, that's odd. Guess he's still off at lunch. We wait a little bit longer. We check his table. Why is he not back yet? And then you checked, I think, Twitter or something, and found out that he left to go to because the convention center is connected to a mall. So he left to go to the mall to grab some food, which would have been the weirdest, coolest thing ever. But if you were just sitting there just as a regular mall person that knows a convention, and friggin' Michael Biehn just comes by and grabs, like, some hot dog on a stick, and you're like, is that Michael Biehn grabbing a hot dog on a stick? But Andy's getting an orange Julius. Nice. Good choice. But the convention center hit capacity, which means they couldn't let him back in. So now we have one of the guests who no one can meet because he's not allowed back in the convention center because of their security rules. And there was no one on staff or whatever to deliver food to the various guest people, which is what you would probably normally have. Needless to say, Michael Biehn had some very not nice things to say about the event. I don't blame him. And we missed out on our chance to meet him, and especially because it was an anniversary year for Terminator, the original movie, which would have been pretty cool to have a signed picture or a photo with him, or
and I was cosplaying as Sailor Moon too.
signed blue. Yeah, Blu-rays have been around.
And you were cosplaying as John Constantine.
Yeah, I was doing John Constantine. Yeah, we both had trench coats, so we got a lot of stuff. we had a lot of stuff in, but yeah, the Rhode Island hopefully learned from that.
And this was our last
fiasco.
Rhode Island convention.
I would probably go back. I'm not a huge fan of Providence. I'm going to say Providence is kind of a junky town, but I actually kind of enjoyed that con.
All right, this story goes back to Animation on Display, or formerly Anime Overdose, 2004, when it was held at the Santa Clara University. So this is back when it was a university convention in the South Bay, and by South Bay, San Jose-ish. Not the Southern California South Bay, which includes Torrance. So, sometimes after a convention, you're in your early 20s, you go to Denny's. Cheap food, open late, you're in cosplay, and you kind of freak out the senior citizens just trying to have like a peaceful meal. And so a bunch of friends I've had at the time, they were cosplaying from Naruto. I was cosplaying from Azumanga Daioh.
So you're looking at a simple school uniform.
No, I was cosplaying as my waifu.
Oh, the angel?
Yeah, her angel variant.
Okay.
And that's what I was. So I was cosplaying like the predecessor of the waifu meme at this whole thing. And so, of course, they're just kind of like just being their Fujoshi selves in their Naruto costumes. I'm just trying to enjoy my like breakfast for dinner type meal with a milkshake. So we have this person right here decides, I guess this is from Prince of Tennis, that there's like this experiment, like one of the characters does, it's like a food experiment. You like just take a bunch of random things and just put it all into one blender, and then you drink or eat out of it. I'm not too familiar with Prince of Tennis, so they're taking random things from the table and putting it into this drink.
It's not how that
to
works.
the point where even the waiter was getting in on this. We have it on video.
You know, if I was there, I would just go.
Oh, the reaction
I
of
would
this
just slowly
cosplayer.
move off the table and then move to the table next to it and set my plate down and go. I don't know those people.
Mm-hmm. Like even talking about this because I have like such sensitivity to taste and flavors is making me like feel a little, you know. But it was great success. The waiter brought in some celery to put in there and a pineapple top, as you can see here. Yes.
Just put the garbage into the water.
Yes.
Or whatever the base was for that.
And here I am. I'm just trying to just silently enjoy my omelets and my hash browns and my Grand Slam. And I'm like, try not to be sick. But yeah, it's easy to say, like, yeah, like, we're cosplayers, we're at Denny's, we're freaking out the normals. But this one just takes it up a notch where the waiter was enabling our behavior.
Well, I mean, if it's late enough, I think the waiter's just trying to have some fun.
Mm-hmm. All right. Another starvation story.
So, like I said, I love WorkCon. It was a really great experience. We got to do some Adventures League stuff. We got to try out a few other games, meet some cool game makers, see some of the most awesome-looking painted figurines you've ever seen in your life, because they were up for competition. And one of the things we couldn't find was our food truck option.
Sad face.
So I was there with two other people. We were... Eventually, at one point, one person went off. Just like, okay, I'm going to find the food. I'll bring it back for everyone. It's like, cool. I'm going to go to this one indie room, and then the other person was like, I want to check out the game room. And we're like, all right, cool. Everything's going good. And it's like, okay, we'll meet up. Because we're going to go do the Adventure League stuff. We'll meet up there like an hour early or something, or half an hour early. We'll eat our food, and then we'll go do Adventures League. Because that's going to be a 3-4 hour session right there. So we're all feeling pretty hungry. Comes back. I couldn't find the food trucks. I think they may have left, or maybe they're just not here. And I'm like, wait, I think we were told though. And then we were getting kind of confused. It's like, well, they're not out front, they're not on the side. I don't know where they are. I'm like, well, crap. If we'd known, we could have done a long run over to the Carl's Jr. because there's a Carl's Jr. not too far from there. At Carl's Jr., I've brought my brother to multiple times actually because I've been to that hotel multiple times. But it was one of those things where now our timer was up. Right, so it's like, okay, if we'd known sooner, we could have just said, okay, we'll leave an hour before, Adventure League. We'll go grab our food. We'll come back, grill food, eat at Carl's, come back. Would have been fine. No, it's not an option. So we're sitting there going like, okay, what do I got in my backpack? Because I had like a bag with me because brought my dice, brought some character sheets. And I reached, I'm like, okay, granola bar for you, granola bar for you. Oh crud, I only brought 2. Okay, fruit snacks for me. And I got some thing of airplane pretzels. Okay. And we're just eating this. We're like, well, hopefully the game won't take that long. It goes about 4.5 hours. It was a really fun adventure. We had a lot of good time. But by the end of it, we're sitting there like shaking, going like, oh God. Okay, what else you got in your backpack? I was digging through. I'm like, I have jerky, and we just looked at it. It just looked like it was like molded. Like, and that needs to be thrown away. And because I don't restock my food supplies, my backpack that often. Or it wasn't even my bag. I think I just grabbed stuff out of my backpack, threw it in there. So it was an old jerky I think I had in my backpack at one point. And so I think I found another thing of like pretzels and maybe, because they didn't put a lot in there. I was like, oh, we'll just need a couple snacks just in case. Because that's always my rules, just in case. And yeah, we finished off like the 2 granola bars. I think I had 2 granola bars, 2 packs of fruit snacks, and like 2 things of pretzels. Because the idea was, what one of these 6 things do you want? And we were sitting there going like, okay, all we need to do is get to the car, and we're going to go to Curry House to meet. You were off at your own thing.
Yes, I was reenacting the Revolutionary War as Eliza Hamilton.
And so part of us were waiting for knowing when you were done because we needed to get that you were done so that we didn't just show up there, eat, and then you show up at afterwards. So we all needed to.
I think I got home first, and then you followed.
Yeah, because we didn't leave until around the time you gave us the message, and
because I had a further distance to drive, but then again, I kind of know the drivers that you're with. They tend to
be a bit slower.
Yeah, whereas I am like, yeah.
So yeah, you have Blazing Beat playing in the background, and I have like
running in the 90s.
Or whatever your preferred initial D one is. And I have like
Gas, gas,
I'm trying to
gas.
think of like
Gotta
a
step on the
slow
gas tonight.
car driving song.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I can't think of a good, appropriate opposition joke for that one. But we did get there. We met up with you. We got our curry house. And I think normally we almost always bring back a little bit leftover because it's just those plates are huge. And I think all three of us our plates were gone because it was just lunch and dinner combined into one meal. And we were just it was just.
It's like Goku and friends, like.
Yeah, just if we'd gone to like a rice bowl place, it just would have been.
That should be our convention or thumbnail for this episode. Just Goku, just kind of like just going to town on the rice.
Lena Inverse for just the piles of.
We do have a Lena Inverse and Gauria photo for this too.
It's with a big pile of food.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of Curry House, did you know that was our last time eating at Curry House ever?
Yep, because then we had the COVID thing started and they stopped.
Oh, it was not COVID didn't stop Curry House. They just.
Oh.
They just went out of business, and then their parent company just dropped them. And this was before even the pandemic started.
So at least the last time we went there, we gorged our food and had starvation adventure. But I totally forgot that was the last time. Not only last time we went, and the official last time we could ever go.
And then after that, I still had Hamilton on my my car.
That's what was playing.
And then. Because I was at a Revolutionary War event, and then I was like, okay, I'll listen to Hamilton on the way up, on the way down, and then I was close towards the end of the playlist. And then we were leaving Curry House, then you listen to Who Lives, Who Dies, Who Tells Your Story.
Could be.
So, let's talk about Curry House.
This was technically this was your
yes, let me tell you how.
Because I joined you guys later on for this.
Yes, let me tell you the story of the Curry House tradition. Everyone has a convention tradition. Every region has a convention tradition. For Southern California, specifically the greater LA area, if there was a convention going on in LA, specifically Anime Expo, people after the con would head over to Curry House in Little Tokyo. I first heard about Curry House back when I was in high school. We had an all January birthday meet up there. It was nicknamed J-Con, and we pretty much took over the restaurant. It was the first time I've ever had Japanese curry. I was totally impressed. And then I met a lot of people I looked up to at that event. I met my buddy Ray Ray. I met my friend Charlene. Just a lot of people there that who are pretty big names in the Southern California convention scene. And it was I just had a very positive memory of it. I remember I was cosplaying from Wedding Peach in the school uniform, just to kind of show you how far back this goes. And then I decided to just kind of make this tradition just to myself, okay, Curry House. Anytime I'm in Little Tokyo.
I don't think I ever had a post-convention food tradition until I met up with your group.
And then I found out that Curry House had a location open up in Torrance. Torrance is actually closer to where my parents are, and a lot of times I would go commute between conventions. So instead of going to Little Tokyo, where obviously the line's going to be longer, let's just go to Torrance instead. And I didn't really start this tradition until around 2007, 2008, where after the con, no matter what con it was, whether it was AX, LA Comic Con, Long Beach Comic Con, or it was just in a general area, we just unwind at Curry House, and we would just kind of let your hair down, just talk about the convention, just talk about your experience, and just kind of just have your post-convention dinner there, and just have it with your friends, and it was just a nice way to close out the weekend. And then when you and I started dating, I took you to, it was Costa Mesa Mitsuwa. They had a Curry House booth type thing. So that was when I introduced you first to Japanese curry. Or this specific Curry House.
I don't remember specifically. All I remember is not wanting to eat there because I'm not a huge fan of Indian curry. I just don't think it tastes that good.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of Indian curry either.
So
I have preference for
when
Japanese
you guys were going
curry.
to go there, I was like, oh, God, can we go anywhere else? And then everyone's like, no, it's good. No, it's good. No, I'm like, fine. Everyone, shut up. We'll go. I'll find something on the menu. And I don't remember what I ordered the first time. I think I ordered something just like small, and I was like, I'll just eat something at home. Like a miso soup or something like that. And then when I think then I tried some of yours or something, and I was like, second thought, can I add the shrimp curry to this, please? And then shrimp curry was like my standard for the longest time until I started doing the hamburger curry there. And then the hamburger thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and for me it was always the chicken katsu curry, and I would always have the tropical iced tea.
That was the one thing I do remember the first time I was there. I was like, sure, I'll try one of those too. And then I was like, this is the best.
And then after that, I started ordering the hamburger menchie curry. And then when I had it on the specialty menu, I had like the steak curry when you could have mushrooms on the side. And my side dish would always be the potato croquette.
Yeah.
So yeah, this was a tradition that we've held for almost like a decade and a half.
I had a good miso soup in a while.
And then when they closed in 2020, it was February, almost a year ago, we were devastated. It's like, wait, when did this happen? What's going on? Like, we weren't even in the midst of the pandemic just yet. We weren't even in lockdown. And I feel like I'm talking about something from 5 years ago versus, because that's just what just time does to you, like in these times. And this photo of me is a photo of me back in March of last year. And this is the now empty curry house, and just me just kind of like just giving deuces to the first curry house location I've been to. And I just have so many memories of that place. And I know a lot of people in Southern California also have a lot of fondness for a curry house, whether if it was after a convention or if it was like one of your go-to stops in Little Tokyo. Rest in peace, curry house.
Yeah.
But we have a Koko Ichibanya now in my parents' neck of the woods, and it's actually really good.
Yeah.
I mean, curry house will still be curry house, but I do appreciate the fact that we do have another go-to curry place. But curry house is just one of those restaurants that just stays in your heart. All right, let's talk more about Trader Joe's.
So one of the fun things you can do with food at a convention, especially if they have more lax food rules, which when we did this, the Heinz Convention Center had a more lax rules, or if you just go in through the hotel side, they don't care.
I had some good luck seeking food at Heinz Convention Center.
Yeah. Like I said, if you go in through the hotel side of things, they're more concerned with like weapons and stuff like that. Versus if you're going through the front door, they're just, it's that X-ray scanner thing from Total Recall. But we were going to do the JOJO'S Bizarre Adventure Gathering, and while we were doing our standard let's get Trader Joe's food for our convention, we stumbled across the fact that the Trader Joe's have these Oreo type cookies called JOJO'S, and we just had, it's JOE by the way, not JOJO, but we were like, we have to grab these and bring these to the convention. We have to do this, so we did, and the gathering was a little bit later, and it dispersed relatively quicker than you might think. This is before the TV series really started catching on. It wasn't on Cartoon Network or anything yet. It was just, you're either watching it online or you've just read a butt ton of manga. So it wasn't as large of a gathering, but you would have your standard, usually Series 3 people, a handful of Series 1 and 2 people. And I think we had the Sailor Jotaro from 8 and a few others. And at a certain point, we pull the JoJo's out of her purse and just offer it to the entire group, and everyone is just like, "Oh man!" And it's like 8 o'clock or something at a convention, so of course everyone's just on cookies. And then was someone there was dressed up like Dio, Series 3 Dio, so shiny, and goes and says like, "Can I borrow the box remote?" I'm like, sure, and has like the person's friend with a camera or something. I think it's probably on the phone, doing like an Instagram story or something, and it just was like, JoJo, the best snack. And Richard's in, he's like, delicious. It was so they're like, don't laugh, let them finish the skit, and then afterwards it's like, oh my gosh, that's the best. So when you have the opportunity to bring like a snack there that everyone at the gathering can really enjoy, you can have a lot of fun with that.
That's why we want to bring Paimon and Cauldron.
And I know there was someone at a Persona gathering you went to who made Blue Velvet cupcakes to represent the Blue Room. I was dressed probably as one of the support ladies, I assume.
Yeah, she's one of the Blue Velvet Room people.
Because there's like the lady changes up depending on the game, but Igor is always Igor, but I assumed it wasn't Igor. So because of that, I'm kind of like, when you can do those kinds of fun things and provide a thematic food, like I always wanted to make poffins for a Pokemon gathering, and I never came up with like a recipe modification that I liked, so it never happened. Maybe with Diamond and Pearl getting a remake, and maybe I'll do it as like an episode of my show or something, if I can make a variant of something that I like that could function well as a poffin.
Hey, Ramses is in the chat. And, let's see, Magical Senpai, I think the Trader Joe's across the way from Heinz and the JOJO'S signed during Anime Boston. Yes,
yeah.
I have it on the side here on the slide. You have, this is Jet here. So many characters in JOJO'S, my brain forgets.
But yeah, I like the fact that Trader Joe's really plays into, hey, Anime Con people, come here and get food.
And Trader Joe's at the across the street from Heinz has just been my source of like food, snacks, strawberry lemonade. Now I'm getting hungry too. After this, I'm doing a Trader Joe's.
I can't remember which pub it was. If it was a pub over by Anime Boston, or if it was a pub somewhere else, where they had a sign that just said "Welcome Anime People."
That was either the Poorhouse, which I know it does cater to us, and also R.A.P. Poorhouse. That makes me sad. I love the Poorhouse, and I love their Idaho burger. They have it's like the fries in the burger
inside on the patty. Oh, that's great.
Let's see. It was funny when I visited that TJ's during PAX East. They knew about Craig. Of course, they knew about Craig.
Because I couldn't remember if it was there or if it was one of the pubs near AAC. Because that feels like that's a possibility as well.
Right. Next.
Because there's a really good pub near AAC. I just can't remember what it's called off the top of my head.
All right, the NOMS disease.
This is your story. My NOMS story is different.
Let's talk about some food poisoning story here. So once upon a time, in the land of... Oh, I forgot that city name. It's not La Habra. La Mirada. Once upon a time, in the land of La Mirada, we decided to have a cosplay picnic/gathering. Really small, cute park with bridges and trees. So I brought my Mulan cosplay, did some Disney cosplay photo shoots. A couple of my friends did Oron High School Host Club. A couple of my friends did Bleach. And we just kind of just went out and had a good time. And also, the place the region we live in, NOMS restaurants, they're 24 hours. They're pretty ubiquitous. They're like a standard, like DENNY'S kind of thing, but a little bit more class, I'd say, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. And better food. Plus,
yes, I tend to prefer NOMS over DENNY'S, but that's just my personal opinion.
They do that thing that Marie Callender's does where they have a different soup of the day, and their navy bean is amazing.
And so, as a post-photo shoot meal, we decided to go over to NOMS. Thankfully, we were able to just change into normal clothes. While I was wearing Mulan, I had like a white dress underneath, and I could just like put an overcoat over it. And then, so we go to NOMS. About half our group, I don't know what they ordered, because I think I just ordered like, I'm pretty an easy person to order for. I usually just, milkshake, garlic fries, and like a burger or something. And I forgot what the rest of the group ordered, but whatever they ordered, about half of the group ended up getting food poisoning.
Mm.
And I just remember going through LiveJournal, remember that social media platform back in the day, just seeing posts after posts like, hey guys, I think I'm sick. Oh no. NOMS gave them a disease.
No, it just means whatever chicken or what have you they had was not cooked properly. So if they all ordered the same kind of meat, it was probably from the same bad batch.
Because I was just trying to think, because like, I remember I had a burger and fries. I forgot what everyone else ordered.
You'd be fine with that, because that's very hard to make that. Mm-hmm. Something where the bacteria can remain. But if they had certain types of chicken or pork or what have you, that's easily done. It could also have gotten other vegetables, depending on what vegetables they had. Mm-hmm. So, but I'll do my NORMS side story. This was
okay. All right, let's hear your NORMS side story.
We had this was WonderCon when it was in Anaheim, and we had like 10 of us, because our friend Bart was over there, and our whole crew was together, and then a handful of other friends, and even Ramses from San Diego was there.
He's in the chat.
And I had a horrible migraine. and my medication was keeping the pain at bay, but I was getting like optical illusions and things like that, which is not fun. Oh, also hearing and smell. God, what's it called? Where your senses swap. Oh God, synesthesia. So I get synesthesia, and I was getting visual like illusions and stuff like that. So basically, it was me closing my eyes, trying not to hear or smell anything. Which good luck trying to do that. Well, everyone else is talking about like what they want for food, what have you, and I was like, I can't right now, guys. I'm hearing smells and I am tasting noise, and it is not really working well for me, guys. It'll get me to NOMS, and my brain just goes, you know what? If I'm here, screw it. I'm getting a brownie a la mode. They have a brownie sundae. I'm like, that's all I want. I don't want real food. My body is telling me to throw just loads of sugar into my system to like reset myself. And everyone else is talking at the table, and I'm like half out of like sipping away at water. I'm like just barely holding on. Occasionally, like I'm stealing someone's fry, or I think you did breakfast for everything. I was stealing some like your toast, and like just kind of nibbling on stuff. And the waitress is like, "Are you going to order anything, or are you just going to steal from everyone's plates?" And I'm like, "No, I want the little brownie sundae thing. I just want to wait for everyone to get a little further through their meals because I feel really weird eating a dessert in front of everybody." And then Barterson's was like, "Dude, I don't care. Order it now." I'm like, "Okay, then bring that, please." It's like the brownie sundae. I'm like, "Yeah." It's like, "You gonna have any dinner?" I'm like, I held up like the piece of toast. Got the brownie sundae. Just ate that entire thing. Next day, felt perfect. Moral of the story is if you have migraine, just eat as much sugar as possible. That's totally not what you should do. But I didn't throw up or anything. But for some reason, my brain was like, I need dairy to like calm my stomach down, and I need comfort food, and I need like a cherry on top. So,
Okay, I have another food poisoning story here.
So the exact opposite. The food just made me happy.
All right, so I have another food poisoning story here, and this is why I do not eat at the Galaxy Food Court or any of the food courts at the LA Convention Center. For the record, this incident happened the first year AX was at LA, so
because I've gotten
AX
stuff
2008.
Not happy as a result.
So this screenshot is actually not one of my convention photos, obviously. Because in the back of my mind, I remember there was a music video where Usher filmed it totally at the LA Convention Center, and it's the video for "You Remind Me," which is a song about like, hey, I'm probably seeing you because of rebound reasons, because you remind me of a girl that I once knew. It's a good song. Check it out. And he's also dancing at the LA Convention Center.
That's the premise of that song. I think it's more of a point of trying to avoid getting back together with somebody. Because the girl he's like, I can't be with you because you remind me of this other person. And the point is, I think I can't be with you because I'm remembering why we broke up in the first place.
Anywho, but don't you? That's another relationship discussion for another day.
It's the lyrics of the song.
I know, but let's just get back to the topic at hand. So anyway, so here is the Galaxy Food Court from that music video. And ever since then, I just avoided just ordering like food from either food courts at the LA Convention Center. There's one in South Hall. There's one in West Hall. This one photo is the one in West Hall. And I remember ordering a smoothie because I just needed to like just kind of like I just kind of just needed to just get something just just something cool. It's hot. It's summer. It's LA, and I also just kind of needed a boost. Okay, I'll order a smoothie. An hour or so later, because the guy I was dating at the time also ordered a smoothie too. Both of us got sick.
Oh, that's rough.
And we just kind of like chalked it up. Okay, we're Asian. Maybe we just don't hold that milk well, or maybe we should have just been better and much more cognizant of the type of milk that we should like ask to have in that smoothie. Ended up going to the Galaxy Food Court again the very next day. I forgot whether I ordered the chicken fingers with fries or if it was a sushi because...
Oh, I know people who go for the sushi, and I refuse.
Okay.
I literally just go like, don't do that. That's no. Did you not see that episode of Futurama? You get little worms in your brain.
I forgot what it was I ordered. And then I just remember just feeling like really sick afterwards. So after like just 2 times, I just refused to like just eat at the Galaxy Food Court. And granted, maybe quality has changed throughout the years. No?
I mean, I always just snuck my own food in. Well, when I had the opportunity.
Yeah, it's 2021. AX probably won't be. Is not coming back till 2022, and I'm like, I still don't trust you, food court of LA Convention Center. I'll just, like I said earlier in the stream, I'll just bring my own food from home or Trader Joe's and be happy that way. I just don't trust your Galaxy food court. All right. However, Italy is even worse.
Okay, so at Anime Boston, they used to have a decent food court over in the mall that convention center is attached to.
Yeah, it was like your standard mall food court. So you had your option of pizza, hot dog on a stick, Japanese, Chinese. So it's your standard mall food court. So the cool thing was like, okay, after Masquerade, I can go grab a slice of Regina's pizza.
Yeah, so Regina's over there. So
and there wasn't really a long better than Sbarro. Yeah, there wasn't a long line for like a lot of the food places there because like it was very diversified food. You're not paying convention center food prices because as Ramses has said in chat, pro tip, never buy food from the convention center.
Agreed.
Yes. And yeah, there wasn't really a long line for anything because like when you have like a little bit of everything at like an affordable price that broke ass college students can't afford, okay, it's gonna...
Plus you have seating. Yeah. Seating is nice.
Seating is a beautiful thing. And if you want to go for like something a little bit more higher tier, Legal Seafoods is right around the corner.
Five Napkin Burger.
I love Five Napkin Burger. So yeah.
And if you want to cross the street, you had the Poorhouse, which was great.
R.I.P.
And yeah, so you had some good options for food things there. Well, they replaced that food court with an Eataly, which is essentially a food court owned by a guy who I believe, allegedly, may have been in the Me Too category. So that's good to know.
You can look it up.
You can look it up. Anyhow, every staff member there is the biggest jerk we have ever met in our lives. And I'm going to point out, we've met some pretty big jerks. Lines are awkward because you never quite know where lines start.
Let me explain to you how Italy is set up. So Italy looks like an Italian marketplace. And to get to the food, you have to like go through the marketplace. There's your pizza place. You have to go through to find your sandwich place. And it's really kind of confusing to navigate. And plus, the prices for food are, I just really wasn't a huge fan of. And plus, there's not a lot of seating because it's not like the pizza by the slice, like from Regina Pizzas, where like you can just take it with you, take it back to the hotel room. This is like the gourmet pizza kind of slices where it has to be eaten right there.
If there are like 3 seats they have available.
I normally avoid Italy, but I do remember one time when Anime Boston offered discounts at Italy, and I was like, okay, let me just give this a try. And they didn't even honor the discounts that Anime Boston's like, hey, it says here on our card that we do get discounts.
And they said, I never heard anything about that. So
yeah, so I kind of had to do
with staff,
that.
dinner discounts. There's almost no seating. Food options aren't really great in my opinion. Each location has like 2 or 3 things it has, and if you want like a normal pizza, good luck. You want a normal
Sometimes
sandwich,
you just want a pepperoni. You don't want anything too fancy. Just want a pepperoni.
Sometimes you just want comfort food. Sometimes you just want to go to a hot dog and a stick and have a friggin' corn dog.
I mean, that's why I always like relying on Trader Joe's because, like, okay, it's right there. It's my salads. But sometimes you need something a little bit more meatier than just a salad.
Now, granted, they didn't have a Orange Julius over there, so I can't lament the loss of the food court that much. Because loss of an Orange Julius is no, that is not allowed. But the replacement was so terrible, and it's just...
It's like high-end Italian food shopping, and then I don't even feel motivated to get the gelato or the cannoli from there.
Yeah, because it just... Well, one, there's a better place to get cannoli, just go to the North End. But the thing is, that partially ruined our experience that day. I remember we were just so... Whatever morale we had was just smashed to the ground by just rude and bad customer service. And I think we went back to our hotel room and we were just like, ugh. Wanted to go out and hit a few night panels, screw it. I just want to lay down. Mm-hmm. Because jerk people will do that. Like, oh, that's a story I didn't get to actually put into this one. So that one we didn't get our morale busted because I gave that guy like a 7-cent tip. So, are we on to other people's stories?
Yes, we're on to other people's stories.
I'm going to tell the Chicago story.
Okay, tell the Chicago story.
So Chicago does have some great food. But when we were at ASEN, we went to this one, I think it was a hotel bar or something like that.
Oh, wow, I hardly remember this one.
They had Voltron playing in the background.
Yes, I remember that one. I love that bar.
And Yeah, the food was decently good.
The atmosphere was pretty
we had
bomb.
the worst, rudest, like, jerk waiter I have ever had, I believe was at that location. And it got to one of those things where, like, our food took forever. He had an attitude about it. I think, like, we ordered, like, adult beverages, and they never showed up, so we just had our waters the entire time. And when it was done with it, I think I was paying, and I looked at the price, the bill, and it ended up being like $29.87 or something like that. And I just put $30 on the table, and you said something like, "What are you gonna do for tip?" I'm like, "It's right there. He gets 11 cents. This guy was a dick. Deserves no tip whatsoever." I got a tip for him. Stop being a jerk as a waiter. So that was the thing. And by the way, before anyone gets on my case about not tipping someone well, you know what this is? It's the world's tiniest violin playing for the waitresses of the world. Reservoir Dogs. It's one of my favorite movies.
All right, let's hear it from...
And Mr. Pink's philosophy is very similar to mine.
Okay. All right, let's hear it from stories submitted. So this is again from Anna. I'm a food product. P.S. If it wasn't for the hashtag gatekeeping Twitter drama recently, wouldn't have remembered this. Pioneer was doing a Gatekeepers promotion, and as they've just started releasing the DVD. At the con, they were giving out candy, some kind of chocolate bar with puff things in it. The wrapper had the series art printed on it. I want to say it had a couple of different series wrappers, but can no longer recall what else was new at the time. I may have literally been on the East Coast Gatekeepers cosplay, been the only East Coast Gatekeepers cosplayer for months at this point, so at the con, they can see me and go, finally, Ruriko cosplay. Followed by the person with me saying, like, it's been done before, and me thinking for a minute, yeah, by me. And they give me candy with my character featured on it. Yay, free stranger candy. All right.
I don't remember that promotion over here in the West Coast. But
the East Coast probably just only got it, because I remember, like, sometimes when they'll do a promotion at larger conventions, it'll be very series specific.
Yeah, well, yeah, I mean, especially Pioneer. That's the the Helsing Castle and things like that. But I think if they were giving away free candy, I would have somehow sniffed it out. So that may have been a smaller convention thing they did. I don't know, but that's pretty cool. I didn't know they did that.
All right,
it's a happier story than a lot of our stories.
Then here's something from Magical Senpai. Here's a con food story for you. Fanime in downtown San Jose has a bunch of places to eat. Unfortunately, some of them have gone before the pandemic.
Yeah.
There used to be a Safeway near the Fairmont Hotel, which was a lifesaver when I forget to buy some groceries before the con. There also used to be a McDonald's, which a lot of us would hit up as well. Still, though, plenty of good places still around, such as Iguanas, La Victoria's, Johnny Rockets, Subway, etc. I still advise bringing your own food if you're able to. Also, do not attempt to subsist on military rations during convention weekend. My insides hated me for a week.
Yeah, that sounds like a rough weekend.
Yeah, Fanime is also, like, pretty troublesome, too, because there's not a lot of late-night eats, unless you're going to use the hotel, like, lobby bar. Because at least the Fairmont, they have, like, food served at that lobby bar, like, for late-night stuff. But sometimes you just want something simple. You don't want, like, fancy hors d'oeuvres. Also from Anna, Battle Royale class of 2002.
See, I think I know where the story is going, and I want to say that I would have done the exact same thing if I had a team.
Battle Royale was in, and we had a big class group. After doing a whole lot of photos, some of us split off for dinner. Because of the elevator hell, it was easier not change, just go as is. Bloody uniforms and all. Bless Kawada cosplayer, he loaned me his uniform jacket. This is why I'm including a picture so you can see how freaking much bigger than he is. Oh, I forgot to add that photo, my bad. Can you imagine what a picturesque group we were, wandering around Little Italy, trying to find something not too pricey, not too crowded, ended up getting Fuddruckers. Really, nothing beats getting a giant cheeseburger.
Wait, what Little Italy was she at? What Little Italy has some Fuddruckers nearby?
Really, nothing beats getting a giant cheeseburger when you're almost a literal bloody mess. Story covered by slightly ill-fitting jacket. Bonus points as it is Valentine's weekend. Many ridiculous things at dinner were said, such as I'll just buy love. Can't buy, so I'll rent it. Followed by we need to get the man on. We need to get the man the internet to degrade his value.
See, versus me, where I would take this story and then combine it with the Denny story. And that's what I wanted to do. I would do if I was dressed up from Battle Royale. It's just all of us come in looking wrecked. It's like, yeah, we're here for some late night food. We've had a night.
For visual, here's the Battle Royale class, and the Quada is the gent in like the Azure blazer over there. I do have a Battle Royale story. It's not food related, but we did have like a large. We want to get the whole cast and fill up the whole class for Animagic 2005. I want to say, because I cosplayed as Keiko in that group. And here's the thing about Lancaster. Lancaster, it's meth central. Mm-hmm. It is land of army rejects and is not a safe place to walk around as a bloodied mess carrying around fake airsoft guns or whatever the hell weapons you're using for Battle Royale.
Depending on your character, yeah. Or head on a string.
Here's the other deal. The hotel Best Western did not want our gathering to be at the hotel because of the weapons and the blood.
I get that.
So we had to have our gathering at the adjacent hotel. And we just did like, okay, let's just gather, take one picture, and GTFO. Because I think it was a year that they wanted to do an entire airsoft ban. I'm not clear on the details, but yeah, I remember it was a year they wanted to do like a full airsoft ban at Animagic.
They started doing that at a lot of cons because they didn't expect anyone to show up with those, and there's like kick-ass picture of us as Reno and Scarlet from Final Fantasy VII with just some random dudes in like military gear with airsoft.
Yeah, there was a gun convention next door, and they had like their airsoft. Like, hey, like Final Fantasy, post us. Like, cool.
So we just basically have Shinra goons, like people essentially not cosplaying as Shinra goons, just people that we utilized as background props of being Shinra goons. It was the best picture because everyone else at the con's like, oh, God, freaked out all those gun people. I'm like, dude, I need to get some photos of some of the gun people.
All right, got some things in the chat. Ramsey's not really a story, but a recommendation. If you're in San Diego, the best place to get a Mexican is Lolita's. It is a chain here, and they are nearby hotspots where cons are held around here. Also, RIP Food Ruckers.
That's Food Ruckers gone too now?
Are they? That makes me sad if they're gone because I love their burgers. I mean,
idiocracy can't happen. That's so lame. It's a visual gag from...
Also, when I posted about this presentation on Twitter, Anna and I were just kind of going back and forth about tips and some convention stories on Twitter, so I'll just read these out for y'all. Anime Boston Con Hack. There's no longer a food court. Hasn't been for a few years now. Go to the Star Market across the street Thursday, Friday night, Friday morning. Stock up. Going to PAX East. The only food in the immediate con area centers is overpriced. Bring a backpack with snacks.
Yeah, it's like one of my go-tos.
Yeah, and I also talk about like how I do my Trader Joe's hack since it's right across the street. And we used to stay at a place that was a bed and breakfast. Had a kitchenette, had like a little stove type thing. We never really use it, but the microwave was like the most useful thing.
Oh yeah, because then I keep my burritos warm. But I've had plenty of cons where I'm like, walking over to that machine would take time. I'm eating now.
Let's see, and Anna also says, I can't even recommend local food anymore as too much has closed in the area last year alone. R.I.P. Hell, area is too wide inside the mall itself. Pour one out for Au Bon Pain. I used to get salads at Au Bon Pain. The real convention MVP is my friend Lillian and her mom. They used to make a little mini vacation of a con, staying at the Sheraton and all. Would round up Thursday with a box of homemade puffs, a couple liters of soda, giant donuts, and make sure to feed me at least once a day each day. The truest con tip right there. Have a buddy who'll remind, make sure you eat and stay hydrated.
I used to bake for my room when I would room with people, and then I realized people were horrible and rude, and so I stopped doing it.
And then DJ Ranma replies with, yep, a friend of mine was running her table at a con, and I said she didn't have much to eat. Went back to my room, I made a care package, returned to her table like a stern parent, and I was like, have some food and drink. Take it.
Yeah, I'm going to say this. If you're ever table with another person, or if you just have a generic friend at a friend's TM at a convention, just go and say, hey, when you go get food, bring me back something. I need to be at my table, but I really, really need to eat because not eating is bad.
Also provided as a visual of this thing here. At Queen City Kamikaze, some kids walked around with ramen and a water cart for the dealers. They planned ahead. And I wandered off for a bit, found a table, selling cookies, and brought back Cookie Cat for Darcy.
Nice.
So I made Cookie Cat. That's cute.
I think it was always my rule that what I wanted to do was make like an R2-D2 or something, but make it that its head can be opened and have like a rice cooker or something in there. So I just, it's like, oh, we're hungry. Hold on. Just scoop out like some rice for people. Here you go.
And that pretty much wraps up this episode of Convention Tea, the food episode. Some upcoming episode ideas we have in mind. Cosplay versus character, where we talk about why we cosplay the characters we cosplay as, and kind of like the psychological implications of that to be determined. We don't really have anything in mind for the next Convention Tea. Who knows? We might think of something like after the show. We really want to do Anime Expo, the Long Beach years, AX, the Anaheim years, because I know there's a lot of y'all. I know how you have stories about those conventions. We already did Cosplaying with Anxiety. That was the last one we did. The panel that goes wrong. You attend a panel and everything goes wrong.
Plus, there's enough of my Axl Rose stories that I can always use those.
Yeah, maybe the next one we might do is the panel that goes wrong. Masquerade horror stories. I want to wait till I can just get like some submissions for that, because I don't have a lot of Masquerade horror stories. Oh, Ramsey's here. I got kicked out of my first AX in Anaheim. Like, yes, send that over, and I can read it Reddit style on this. And let's see, Hotel Roommates from Hell. That's gonna be a good one. You won't. Okay, no worries. Trust me, it's bad, says Ramses. But yeah, if you got any horror stories you want to send us, you can send it to our email here. Also, just closing remarks. YouTube. Check out our YouTube channel, Scarlet Rhapsody Convention Cultured. There is a secondary Scarlet Rhapsody channel. That one is not monetized, and we're working to get Scarlet Rhapsody Convention Cultured to be monetized. Twitter, you can follow us at Cons and Churros. Facebook, look up Scarlet Rhapsody. That's us. Twitch, well, you're already here, but if you're viewing this on YouTube, Dame Asnable. Patreon, Scarlet Rhapsody, just give us some money.
Is that my Hyakushiki shirt?
Yes, that is your Hyakushiki shirt, and you're holding a Mickey bar.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And web, just visit us on the web, www.scarlet-rhapsody.com. We're also on Discord. We finally have a Discord open for y'all, so you can just hang out and hang out at our clubhouse.
We should make a section for the... Oh, we do have a section for the...
Yeah, we have a Convention Tea section.
Convention Tea section. So if you have stories or topic ideas you'd like to share, by all means do that. Also, if you have the chance, go to the video game section, because I need to choose what I'm going to stream next as my main game when I beat Dragon Warrior 4 this month, because I'm totally super going to do it, like I said back in December. So it's totally super, no matter what, underlined twice, going to happen.
And there's a photo of you as Bright eating a burger.
Yep. Better than me dressed as Bernie eating a burger.
All right. Thank you so much for attending our presentation, Convention Tea, the food episode. And remember, we will see you at the con when it's safe. And remember, stay hungry, bears. That's a photo of you with our former President Bill Clinton.
Yeah. Or so that's Big Al. Famed country bear, Big Al.